Hi, Claire.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I hope we all are fine and happy Easter weekend. I think all of you have a good weekend, I hope. So, last week we I think you remember that we start to discuss from 12 links. So we have done only 2 links. One is ignorance, and number 2 was mental formation. So now this week we are going to reflect number 3 and number 4, if possible. Maybe if we cover the time, maybe number 5 and 6 too. So it's very interesting one, consciousness. So before I start consciousness, I like to just do a little bit overview from last week. So as we discussed that the dependent origination, so there are 2 aspects. One is theoretical aspect, and another one is practical aspect. So now we are going to reflect on the practical aspect. So in words, like we start with ignorance. So ignorance, as we defined, like not knowing the truth. So not knowing the Four Noble Truth according to ultimate perspective of Buddhism. And also that another definition we have, that not understanding the reality. And mental formation, then we are we have we discuss it is as a habitual tendency, one of the translation we have. And also we talk about that mental formation as volitional, and it's also related to the karma, the concept of cause and effect. So now we are going to discuss about consciousness. So according to the discourse, like the discourse of dependent origination, we know that with the origination of mental formation, consciousness arise. So let me start with my slide. Okay, consciousness. So what is consciousness? Actually, this term we found in Pali and Pali, original term from Pali and Sanskrit too. So Pali we say as Vijnana, and Sanskrit Vijnana. So the term we see entire scripture in many ways it described. So initially we are going to discuss how can we define consciousness from the aspect of dependent origination. So consciousness we can define as mental quality. So this is very good translation by Miss Rhys Davids and William State. And later on, I found that Iana Molly, one of the very good scholar in 70s and 60s, that period. So he also have a dictionary about Pali to English diction, So he also agree with this Miss Rhys Davids translation. It was Miss Rhys Davids and William State. They are 100 years ago. Actually, they are the pioneer scholar, in this area. So anyway, so consciousness we can define as mental quality, and consciousness could be seen arising logically prior to the bodily system, and is a result of prior karma. So prior to the bodily system, so our bodily system, we can relate it to the 5 aggregates, and also the 6 sense doors, and it's all are related to each other. So it's like a consciousness plays the very key role in how the mind operates into phenomenal and physical action. So we would like to discuss a little bit about mental quality. So our mental quality maybe we can say as like our thought process, and our thought process based on mental quality. And based on mental quality, we we create our own karma. So, you know, back to the little bit behind about the sankhara, habitual tendency, our habit. So with habit, with continuing our good habit or rather the bad habit, so our mental quality is matured. So from mental quality, our this part, it leads the karmic consequence. So karma is one of the very important concept in the entire Buddhist teaching. You can find it. So what is karma exactly? It has so many definitions, so many explanation. But Buddha, he was very clearly he handled this part. He said, karma means your intention. Your intention is your karma. Through your intention, you identify what should do, what should not be done. So intention is the karma. So through the intention, it leads to our, I mean, it can be mature, it can be, it can be define our mental quality. So a little bit reflect to karma. Uh, according to the as we discussed that according to the Anguttara Nikaya, AN means Anguttara Nikaya. This is another text of Sutra Pitaka. So in this Anguttara Nikaya, it mentioned it is intention that I call kamma or karma. Kamma is a Pali term. In Sanskrit, we say karma. Intention is the spring of all moral conduct. So whether wholesome or unwholesome, I mean, generally we classified karma into into two ways in generally, whether it is wholesome or unwholesome. So karma or karmic factor are proceeding by our mental quality. And we back to a little bit more about consciousness. You can say that based on consciousness, on this mental quality, our entire process, entire life process, like a human psychology, we can be explained, and we can find out the answer. So another thing I like to say that about the term consciousness, in this term, I mean, in this part, Vijnana, we are strict to remaining only the translation about only consciousness. Actually, we can translate in many ways, even the mind too. But in the scripture, Pali and Sanskrit scripture, I found that scholars, the Buddha and his disciple, and later a scholar, they explain the entire mind or conscious into four different terms. One is a Vijnana or consciousness, and Mano. Mano is mind, for one mind. Chitta. This is also translated as a thought process or the mind, and Nama, also mind or mentality. But in the next part, we discuss Nama, but in this part, we stay with the consciousness only. And this part is a bit complicated. but we try our best to clarify it, what is the main concept. And please go ahead that if you have any confusion, please we can discuss about that. What is the confusion for any point, or any sorry, any for any point here. So anyway, so consciousness, how it appears now. So as according to the doctrine of according to the law, according to the formula, we know that with the origination of mental formation, consciousness arise. So in the same sutra, we have a commentary. The commentary was translated and compiled by a very prolific scholar, Bhikkhu Bodhi. So, and this commentary actually, it was compiled, I guess, nearly 800 to 900 years later, after the historical Buddha's demise. Maybe mostly in I'm probably in some part in South India, and also that later it moved to Sri Lanka. When mostly that Venerable Buddha Ghosa arrived to Sri Lanka in 5th century. So the commentarial tradition was very, very popular in So in the commentary of Mahanidana Sutra, the great discourse of causation, we found the explanation: consciousness appears as an enduring subject due to lack of attention. When it is mindfully examined, the appearance of lastingness is dissolved by the perception of its impermanence. So here's very interesting part. Consciousness appears as an enduring subject due to lack of attention. So that means consciousness is defined as awareness, or we can say awareness of awareness. It's another define. We can again, I repeat, we can define consciousness as awareness of awareness. That means like a modern day we use the term mindfulness. So, and we can see the relationship with the habitual tendency and consciousness. So by our if we have some kind of the if we can be adopt with some good habit, we are get used to on that. And if we are turn our life and our lifestyle into something else, we get used to too. So it's all related, So our consciousness, it manifesting, and it plays the very vital role for entire process. So we can see that one terms like I like to sorry, yeah. Now we go a little bit depth about consciousness. So consciousness is from the early Buddhist scripture, even general thought too. There are 6 sense organs. It's connected to our consciousness. So our 6 sense organs are, as you know, that eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So eye and visual object, eye consciousness appears. For example, like in my hand I have my pen, so I'm seeing the pen. After when I'm seeing this pen, my eye consciousness recognize that this is the pen. Or sometime, even my eye closed, I touch this pen. I can see that, yeah, I can notice that, yeah, this is the pen. Even it is my sense are works, my sense are recognized. So there are six classifications of consciousness. It's very is in general: eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue, tongue and taste, body, and mind. So it's all are interrelated to each other. And by seeing, by observing, by tasting, by smelling, by listening, our sense organs are, is it's a bit uh, manifesting, and it's a judgment. We have some judgment about that. And when you have a judgment, we like to categorize whether we like or dislike. So again, I back to the music once. So suddenly we listen some music that is we familiar to, and we listen this music for a few times. We like it, and after listening the one song or one lyrics for few times, it always be here in our mind. So we like to get used to, we like to like it. So it's our consciousness how it's mature, we can say. So consciousness, it's about all about that. You can say that it have a judgment, it have a sense, it has, it is awareness. We can say awareness too, or awareness of awareness. So and also that when you understand this entire process, we can be reflect our mind very well to the point. We can see the fact, each of the problem we can we can be we can notice, and you can recognize. So in our daily life, so we can sometime like food. So maybe some I'll X Y like sometime maybe we like to eat some French fry, for example. So I taste it, and I can recognize the quality. So I like it. My mind notice, and I bought some French fry, and then I start to eat. So I taste it. My tongue is tasting. It can identify the quality, whether it is very good, or I mean is the good or bad. Actually, we don't know the standard format, what is good or bad, but we have a judgment from our through our consciousness. So my consciousness, my previous experience with this food or French fry, it can be identified that, oh, this is the better one, or maybe this is not. It's not better one. So that you can see that our habit, our sankhara, previous experience, is our habitual tendency. It can be, it's all are identify, and it can describe that how the you know um, our mind consciousness also identify that how taste this food it is. So like I beg to the bit mindfulness in this part. So in the mindfulness practice, as you know, that the four foundation of mindfulness, So four foundational mindfulness is contemplation of the body, contemplation of the mind, contemplation of the feeling, and contemplation of the phenomenal object. So in this four foundational mindfulness, probably many of you heard this book, like Satipatthana, a four foundational. So in the four foundational mindfulness, we see the practice. What we are seeing, we need to know that we are seeing. So knowing the seeing as seeing, but without any judgment. It's very tough to do that. So, but normally, like for example, like I easily can judge. Like I see the pen. Oh, I know this is my pen. I know because of my experience. But then I start to judge more. Like I start to say that, oh, this is a good pen, or this is something like blue color, this is a black color, and I like a yellow, a black ink, something like this. So, but Satipatthana, but four foundational mindfulness, it can be, it help it. It's a practice and it is exercise to notice and to know that you are seeing, to know that you are seeing the object as it really is. So knowing the reality as they are. This is also one of the part of the four foundational mindfulness. So again, back to the consciousness, that we know that 6 types of consciousness. So it was very brilliant idea. I sometimes surprised at how the ancient master like Buddha's 2,600 years ago, he compiled. He spoke the very systematic thought. He make it in briefly. He delivered this formula to his fellows. So then again, this object, consciousness has to have an object. One can't have pure consciousness without object. So consciousness, like you can say, my eye and seeing. So eye itself is, it can be it can be mature, it can be identified after it sees the object. Same way, my tongue, I taste some good food, some spicy food. I can identify the food is the object. So how does an object identify? So it is through our sense basis. So like 6 sense base, such as visible object, I see it, I smell, olfactory object, odor, hearing, tactile object, gesture object, and mental object. So we can be, it can make us a clear sense that consciousness without object is not possible, really. But consciousness is an awareness. So we can relate it to the bit like mindfulness practice. When you are going to the exercise about four foundational mindfulness, we reflect on our object. So mostly that when you meditation, normally we are the traditional way of meditation, we have a lotus posture, close our eyes. So we pump one hand to the right hand onto the left hand. So we like to reflect our phenomenal object. That time we can see our feeling, some thought process rising and falling. So a lot of our thought process are changing. Sometimes we can, for example, we can see that we close our eyes, but we are thinking about something else. Like, okay, I thinking about the present corona situation or COVID crisis. Maybe some country have a lots of infection, some country have a less infection. But a lot of thought process, for example, it appear. Maybe suddenly the thought thought are changing. Maybe we move to the another thought process, like about thinking about the family. Oh, how is my mother is doing? How is my brother is doing? And you can see that our thought process is changing. It's change. It's very fast. It's very fast. So, but when you're observing the thought process, we just observe it is arising and it is ceasing. No judgment. It is a huge job to do. It is a regular practice. It can be helpful to calm down our mind or consciousness, and focus to the particular issue. Focus. So focus is translated from the term ekagrata or ekagata. That means one pointiness. Or, it can help to develop our concentration. So about consciousness, our mind, our consciousness, when it is mindful, when you have an awareness of awareness, we can really see the things as they are, and we can improve our concentration level. So understanding this process is a bit hard work somehow, but yeah, it is a regular practice, regular analysis. But of course, we have to understand one thing, that we analyzed it through using our wisdom and also mindfully. We don't need to do it without with just analysis without having object is not healthy. So therefore, I like this term, like say the Buddhist scripture clarifies consciousness and wisdom are inseparable, and precisely states that wisdom can't flourish alone without awareness of consciousness. So that's somehow like inseparable. So that is the knowing, that is the seeing, that is the hearing the object, tasting the object. It's very mindful process. So we can see that process, we can see that how the consciousness is related to the past feeling, like a habitual tendency. And the next one, with the arising of consciousness, nama rupa arise. Like nama rupa we translate in this sutra, we translate as only mentality and materiality. I like to share another thing. Very interesting part is one of the book. Like Ajahn Shumedo is very good practitioner. So he said that in this book, consciousness is not something you will find. It is what you are. It's very interesting for me. Like I found that it's about he also emphasized about awareness and mindfulness. He make it good analysis. How can we can be move forward and how can we can be more mindful on particular object. So we can see that through the six sense doors to all the mental faculties and about all the process. So yeah, so at this point, do you have any reflection or any question or something? It can be helpful, like if you have anything.
The intention and awareness. How do you have clear intention without first having the awareness of what you are intending to do or look?
Well, intention, it is translation from the term of karma. So actually, it's a very important things like come to the practice. Before come to practice, in the Eastern, in our traditional way, we talk about the moral ethical vows or moral vows, morality. So basic moralities, basic precepts are five precepts for lay practitioners. It's very common in if you look at if you see the practitioner from Thailand, Bangladesh, or Myanmar, India, Sri Lanka. This before they start to practice, they are they take a vow like not to killing, not to speaking lie, abstain from misconduct or alcohol and also intoxicant, and also that another one, not to stealing. So these five precepts, it is about, of course, is the basic principle of the moral action, and it can by continuous practice, it can be clarified your intention. It and also like from the Mahan aspect, we came to know about Bodhisattva vow. Uh, maybe probably some of you heard this text like Shantideva's the Bodhisattva way of life, Bodhicharya Avatara. It's a very famous text written in 7th century. It was it's a collection of all the six perfections, and how can a practitioner go through the moral practice and ethical perfections too. So morality is like a foundation somehow. It's a foundation. It's no other object. No, without having this practice, with the moral practice, it's intellectually we can explain in many ways, but exactly it cannot be fruitful. It never be works. Intellectually, we can be wise in many ways. We can explain, we can difference, we can argumentation, a lot of ways, but clear understanding or crystal understanding and clear seeing can't be possible without moral practice, and the clear observation. Somehow, it is the ethical. You can say the ethics too. So it is the one of our human ethics. So ethics. I have I sometimes a bit uncomfortable to using the term ethics. So it's it's very hard to explain because ethics, we use the term for many other issue in this conventional world. I like to use the term on the morality. So morality is from the term sila or shila in Pali and Sanskrit term. So this understanding is the wisdom. So wisdom is always purified by morality. I like this quote very much from the Sutta Nipata. He said that Buddha said the wisdom is purified by morality. On the other hand, morality is purified by wisdom, but both are related to each other. But of course, morality is the foundation for moral practice. Is it's a very prerequisite. You can say that. So in our consciousness, the entire process of the of our consciousness, we can see like our the seeing some object. It is your choice. Enlightenment or awakening somehow is like your choice. Seeing the object, what are your intention? I mean, what do you want to see? Do you like to see something like a good movie, or something like a um, something so there's a good or bad, so what do you want to see? It's your choice, your intention. So by seeing, before you see, your mind is noticed that what do I really want to do for that, but our action. So in other way, like another part I like to share, um, like our regular action. For example, like we walk to the on the park. So beside the park we have a lake. So we saw that suddenly that a fish jumped to the land, and if it's nearly going to die. So what do you want to do? Maybe if you have a like kind heart, you just say that, oh, this fish, bring it back to the water, it can back his life. But if someone maybe take this fish and take advantage and bring it home and eat. So the action depends on the intention. What is the intention behind it? And so these all are based on our moral practice. Somehow like it is very prerequisite in this path. And no matter what religion or some concept these are, but without this moral practice is really very healthy. For me, I say that this is one of the skillful practice. It came from us, and by doing, we can we can help to others too. So maybe others can be inspired by this. This is maybe the one of the sustainable way for this peaceful society. So from a practitioner aspect, I like to I like to find I like to this express that my opinion that moral practice is like a prerequisite to enter into the gate of awakening. So this consciousness, again, I beg to, we can see clearly the entire sixfold consciousness when you have enough mindfulness. And if we can focus each of the object, we can see, and then it can help us to clarify what are we doing. And the doing we are doing, whether it is right or wrong, we can be identified. So identifying right and wrong is based on the moral practice. So is there any more reflection? May I ask any more?
Yes, Sanjoy.
Yes.
Can I just ask a question, please?
Yeah, please.
I was just wondering this. I thought karma was action rather than intention. That now, say if does the intention leads to a karma? Say if I have an intention of stealing something, but then I realize, oh, that's not good. It's a good moral. Then I decide not to steal the action. So just the mere thought of stealing, have I already created a bad karma? But yeah, without actually doing the stealing, act of stealing.
Yeah. You're right. Actually, karma is action. It's another one, but action based on our intention, as you said.
Yes.
So, so when I thought that before I steal some stuff, so I already have a map. How do I do that?
Mm.
right? So it is the intention was before,
Yes.
and yeah, it's about related in action. So
So
it's a
it'll,
yeah.
yeah, it'll actually by my what do you call it? Going ahead with my intention, I'm then carrying out a bad action, which is a result of my bad karma. I would have thought. And also, I understand that, enlightened arahants, or those people, they still do karmas because they have to live as a human being, but they don't produce new karmas because they've
Yes,
utilized all their karmas. I suppose they just do cause and effect, I suppose, but wholesome stuff.
right, you're
Ah,
right.
so-
Yeah, exactly. Actually, arahant or enlightened people, I like to translate this term awakening one.
yeah, yeah,
Awakening one. So he's mindful not to produce new karma. So
yeah.
in this aspect, the karma is defined as negative karma, unwholesome one. Because arahat or the awakening one, he's still doing something good stuff.
Mm,
Like he's helping others or something he's doing for society and give a good talk. It's a good things doing, but
mm,
he's aware not to not to producing something wrong stuff like stealing or some other stuff.
mm.
So actually, this Buddhist thought, Buddhist belief on karma and its resultant, I think it's a very intellectual and skillful way. I mean, for make this society very inharmonious. Uh, what why I say I tell in that way, when someone has a fear of karmic consequences, he or she will stop to do some unwholesome action. Does it make sense?
Sorry, could you sorry, if
Again,
someone
again,
here.
karma and its resultant, karma and result.
Mm,
You know,
yeah,
so karma we understand action, and
yeah.
its result we understand that
Mhm.
if we
Yeah.
do good, obviously some good feedbacks return to
Oh,
us.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So in the same way, if we do some unwholesome,
Mm,
akusala or bad, some
yes.
bad things comes to us. So
Yeah.
fearing
Oh, I see.
to
Yes.
karma
Yeah,
is
yeah.
somehow like make the like
Mm,
everyone can be uh eh, like the society can be very nice because everybody have a fear to karma. So I will not doing just something bad things.
mm,
So it's very skillful method,
mm.
and bring the people into one moral
Moral, yes, form.
moral
Yeah,
form and ethical
yeah.
ethical
It's that.
perfection.
It's like that saying, "What goes around comes around." Yeah.
Exactly. Right,
Okay.
right.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're welcome. So again, that I like to go a little bit more about consciousness. I just give the some idea. We are not. Yeah, it's about this term consciousness. So again, I mentioned it when if we have a chance to look at the scripture, like Tripitaka scripture from the text, you can see that a few terms, a few ways too. Uh, it explained. So I saw that I found that there are four function of consciousness. So just give the general idea. Like one is a revert consciousness. So as you know that Buddhist thought, they believe the revert, life after the life. So actually, we general people like me, I have no authorization to say that whether it is the right. I mean, it is the true or false. But I'm just talking from the scriptural aspect. So there are four functions of consciousness. One is the revert consciousness. So it is about just the moment, the moment of newborn baby. And that moment, that consciousness, so the moment, the consciousness, the thought process, just before you die, before someone die, and life continuum consciousness. So it is explained about the consciousness in between death and rebirth. So that moment, and we are talking mostly about, we are still the empirical or present consciousness in this term, in this aspect, because we like to, as last week, as you remember that we discussed about Santitiko and Akaliko. There's two terms we discussed how the Buddha was defined, what was his investigational method. So he ran behind what is visual, what makes sense to him. So here we are in this dependent origination. I found that this entire process, the Buddha's explanation based on the empirical consciousness. So now so now we are heading to our next link. So the next one is very important link. We have a very vast area too. So according to the formula, we know that with the origination of consciousness, namarupa arise. So namarupa, here we translate as mentality and materiality. And sometimes some of the scholars, they translate mind and body. So this term namarupa always be together. So nama is for mind. Also somehow you can say that also consciousness. I actually don't understand. Sometimes I wonder that why it is not the Vijnana Rupa. Why Buddha said Nama Rupa? I mean, consciousness, he said that Vijnana or Vijnana. So why it is the conscious, why it is not the consciousness body, or why he said that he categorized, he leveling mind and body. There's a two, I mean, there's a little bit different words, but it makes sound same actually. When you go in depth, you can see that the concept is, this is the consciousness and bodily action too. So as we start, namarupa or mentality and materiality is conditioned by consciousness. And mentality and materiality as corporal organism, or it is related to the physical material body. So we can somehow we can say like rupa. Actually, rupa, this term rupa, not only body, we can say that our visual object, this also rupa. This like it is also part of the materiality. So here we work with our mind and body. So as we know that our 5 aggregates. The 5 aggregates are rupa, materiality or body, feeling, perception. That's another big term. Rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, mental formation and consciousness. So according to the discourse of dependent origination, the Buddha described mentality as it correlates to feeling, perception, volition, contact, and attention. While form derives from the four great elements. So this is the actually, yeah, sorry. This is actually the Buddha's his his statement about how can we his overview about nama and rupa. So again, nama or mentality is as it correlates to feeling. So our feeling. So what is the feeling? Feeling we have a generally we have a two feeling. We can say that a good feeling and bad feeling. But from Buddhist aspect, there are a few categories, a few types of feeling, like positive feeling, negative feeling, neither positive nor negative. That is, you can translate as a neutral feeling, non-judgmental feeling. So our feeling, it's based on our feeling, our mind is manifesting, and mind is inspired from the feeling too. In modern terms, sometimes we are translating the term feeling as mood, our mood, whether we have some have a chilling mood or happy mood, sometimes unhappy mood. So we can, so it is also part of the feeling, and our excitement, our suffering. This is also feeling. And another terms is perception. It's a very sorry. Perception is a very huge concept. So I like to say that about I like to provide you, normally your general definition. I like to provide the term perception from the how the Buddhist scripture explain. So generally we say perception is the most immediate derived sense of an object. Like as we discussed, like this is the book, or this is my pen, or this is the people. So we can easily perceive who is what he is. It's a kind of, you can say that a sense of the judgment too. So there is a mild impact, contact, a sense of something strikes the eyes. There is an immediate flaring or movement around what that is. And you can see a little bit more. Perception is the sense of recognition. Actually, this is very, this one of my very interesting, this picture. So this guy, he see the four cylinder, and this guy on my right, he see the tree. So both are right actually, like 6 or 9. But the thing is, how do you overlook from which aspect he is observing? Actually, in this case, both are right. It's very big, nice puzzle. No one is wrong. He said 4. He see the tree, or in the next picture, he see the 9 and he see 6. Both are right. So, I mean, how can we recognize the object? It depends. So we can translate that perception is the sense of recognition. So it's sometimes we have back to our general life, daily life. Sometimes we have some agreement and disagreement with our friends or family members. So like for example, like a son have a problem with mom. Maybe mom is right from her perspective. Maybe son also right from his perspective based on which context and which introspections they are thinking about, whether it is 6 or 9. So it's not exactly real. It could be 9. A mom, so this woman, she see the 6. If she came to this side, she can see the 9. So it's that's why that we always have our perception makes the agreement and disagreement. It creates a lot of disputes to each other. So perception is a very important part. So like we back to our first link, ignorance. So ignorance is not knowing the reality as it is. So it creates the problem. It creates a lot of contradictions, a lot of dispute to each other. So, so our perception, it's sometimes like a illusion too. This is the illusion. It is not absolute. And another one I like to share, perception rises up and levels the feeling with the arises of sense of one who feels. So sometimes maybe in our daily life, sometimes someone asks you some opinion, but at the time you are so rushing for something else. You just give your opinion, but without thinking twice. You just, because you're busy, you don't have a time to think, reflect this thing. And, so sometimes you are angry mood. So maybe somebody asks you that, oh, may I get some favor? Can you help me this and that thing? At the time your mood is angry. So you have something else, something problem, it's already into your mind. So you did not respond that guy very well. So it's it's all about leveling of our feeling. So our feeling is very strange, very, very interesting. We have excitement, we have a happiness, we have a sadness, and we have we have a our mood. Actually, we have a sometime our mood is so relaxed. That time it depends. It depends, and therefore I back to a little bit mindful practice. Therefore, mindful practice from positive aspect, it can help us to be aware of our feeling, of our mood. So based on our feeling, sometimes we do something else, or sometimes we do something good. So it's better. We need to be aware of our we need to be aware of our feeling. So awareness, this is the call attention. Here you can see the term attention. So attention is awareness. It is your mindfulness. So our feeling, when you have a good feeling, sometimes we are so happy. We are so for example, we are so happy today. Then I went to the good restaurant. Maybe I had some fancy food, but I'm happy. That's why I'm eating good food. But I did not realize that, oh, I bought this food so expensive, so fancy food, and this food maybe I can cover for next 1 week meal. So it's not wise way. It's not wise. I mean, I don't. That means that like you have to be awareness about your balance, whether you can survive for next month or not. So you feeling today good, it doesn't mean that you need to spend all of your money for having just to nourishing this good feeling. So this term I found in very interesting way, nourishment of consciousness. There's one term, nourishment of nourishment consciousness. Actually, the term is. I'm sorry that if I mispronounced that my English. In Pali, I saw that Biyana Aharu in one term, and it meaning like nourishment of consciousness. Maybe another term we can translate into English in general way, food for thought. So all can you can see all are related. Our mind is all of the mental factors. This is a basic formula we can say from the early Buddhist scripture and early Buddhist teaching too. So manasikaru or attention, we can translate as a wise reflection. Is so important. Our feeling, you see, we have a happy feeling, we have a sad feeling, angry feeling, laughing. So we have to reflect wisely. What are we doing? We need to reflect very, very carefully. I like to give another example. I told it a few years ago with one of my friends as well. My friend, he was so happy on that day. So he drive a car very fast. And, he was listening music and drive car very fast. And it make a accident too. It got, it's the consequence is not good. But fortunately he alive. But he injured, car was damaged. So he just nourished his feeling. He just he just nourished his like a how can I tell how to explain, like he did not have a manasikaro, like wise reflection. He just move forward to his feeling. So feeling need to be before you react, need to reflect whether it is what it will be the consequences. So back to a little bit about 4 foundational mindfulness practice. So in the 4 foundational mindfulness practice, one part is that Vedananudasana. That means that observing or contemplating your feeling as feeling. You just observe your feeling. You can see, you can observe your happy feeling or sad feeling very wisely without reaction. You react based on your how to say, like uniso manasikaro in Pali, like your attention, and you also have to be attention enough that what will be the consequence after you react, whether it is to make it sense, make it good consequence or wrong consequence. Sometimes another example I can say, sometimes we write some of our friends, sometimes we get totally disappointment and angry. Maybe in the job, it's happened every time. Sometimes we have it satisfied, sometimes we don't satisfied. We write whatever we like to write. And it was like I have one of my recent experience, like just a few days ago, one of my students did not aware of exam. So we are taking now online exam. So she did not check her past emails. So we sent an online exam link and question, and she got completely mad. She sent email to everyone that, this is ridiculous, this is something blah, 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 and something like this. And a lot of emails to everyone. So then after few hours later, this student sent again email to everyone that oh, I'm sorry, my apology that I did not check my previous emails and I was not aware of this situation and that. But of course, as some of our teachers, they understand that fact. They said, of course, that maybe she did not have enough preparation. That's why she had a disappointment about this exam date and last, you know. So she did not aware, but again, she said that awareness. When she came back with her mindfulness and awareness, she understood that, oh, this is her fault because she did not check her earlier email, earlier, the response from the teachers. So this is very, very important lesson for us too, for me too. So don't be, when you're disappointment, when you're angry with something, so try to be tame, because not everyone can understand. So better to reflect on the feeling. So that is a huge exercise and practice. So we can see from four foundation of mindfulness that contemplating on the feeling as the feeling without reaction, without judgmental. So that is the non-duality practice. There's no judgment. So again, I repeat this namarupa. Actually, it is very say that mentality as it correlates to feeling, perception, volition. So this volition is a mental formation as we discussed before, habitual tendency, contact. We'll come in contact later, pasa, and attention. And form derives from the four great elements. So anyway, so at this point, do you have any question before you go to the four great elements?
Sorry, Sanjoy, just a
Yeah.
quick question. You know that, can you just go back to the previous one? You know, the attention. I'm just trying to
Yeah.
get my head round. So volition, perception,
Chetana.
chetana. So that's like that's a karma. You're creating
Exactly.
karma. Yeah, and then now this attention, manasikaro. Oh, the volition can be also sankara, isn't it? That one.
Yes. Volition can be sankara too.
So this attention, manasikara, is that the same as the consciousness, awareness?
Yes.
And then, but then you had consciousness in the, before Nama Rupa, we were talking about consciousness as well. So that's what you were saying, isn't it? That's what I was trying to figure out, what this consciousness and this attention, what the difference is.
Okay, another term of consciousness. Did you remember that as we transcribe as awareness of awareness?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is attention. This is the manasikaro. So I think consciousness, we can be it is most about from positive aspect. This is awareness of awareness or sati. That is mindfulness. And wise reflection or attention, it is actually more wider than consciousness. So wise reflection, it can be it can help, it can be assist you to judge how to react, how to lead to your action.
So, yeah, how you respond and whether create the karmas and all that. And this manasikara, is that, and the yonisa manasikara, is that two different things?
It is the same thing actually, but in this term, that's why I parenthesis I keep that manasikaro only. Actually, it's the same. Like it should be yoniso manasikaro. As in a Pali phrase word, sometimes as stated only manasikaro. Yeah. Sometimes say yoniso manasikaro. So yoniso, but almost same. But yoniso manasikaro, we translate as a wisely reflection.
Wisely have ayoni money, which is the opposite, isn't it? Ayoni.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So as another way we say that yoniso manasikaro, wise reflection to the reality as it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
whilst having awareness, the consciousness of the whole thing, sort of thing. Yeah.
right.
Um,
Right.
yeah, I need to get my head around that one. Thank you. I'll
You're
think
welcome.
about
Yeah. So now we are heading to four great elements a little bit. So four great elements, form derives from like rupa, our materiality, from four great elements. So four great elements, I think many of you know. Um, I just give some overview. Everything consists of the four primary elements: earth, fire, water, and air. Observing the presence of all four of these elements within us, or even just one of them, can be an important way of recognizing how our individual composition is the same as the composition of the rest of the universe. This may be an intellectual understanding at first, but eventually, with practice, it can become a feeling, one of being exactly the same as everything around us. Now we go to the earth element. So earth elements represents our body, our flesh, bones, and hair, the ground, even water, like our blood too, blood also part of the water. So we humans, brilliant as we are upon what we can see and touch, are most concerned with these earth elements, particularly as it relates to the body. And water element is the same also, is also part of the earth too, but we cannot it described in this, it represents the quality of liquid liquidity or relative motion. Any matter where relative motion or particles is in prominence are called water elements. Internal water elements include clay, pus, blood, sweat, fat, tears, nasal, mucus, urine, semens, etc. And the next one is fire elements. It's very interesting, fire one. Fire element is talk about the temperature, warm or cold, and capacity of or to digest, to eat. Sometimes fire elements just explain about our emotion, our attachment, our clinging. It's like a fire. In the Buddhist scripture, they give this kind of simile. An air element is represent the quality of ex, expansion or repulsive forces. Any matter where repulsive forces are in prominence are called air elements. Internal air elements includes air associated with the pulmonary system, for example, for breathing. The intestinal system, winds in the belly, and bowels, etc. So these all four elements, actually, we just understand it the general way: earth, water, fire, and air. So now I like this analysis from the some of the teacher. In the first picture, you can see that one of the very great master from, he is actually originally from Bangladesh. He was very influential master. He passed away in 2012. He has thousands of followers and disciples. So Ajahn Chah, as many of you know, beside Ajahn Chah, you can see Ajahn Shumedo, from Thailand tradition, and Kesi Dhammananda Mahathera is one of the great master, great monk from Sri Lanka. But also, he have a lot of influential work in Malaysia and Singapore. He did a lot of good books and good translation. And Ayakema, another Western master. So all of them are agreed that connecting with the earth, fire, water, and air within us connects us with all of existence. So these all are our rupa, our materiality. So nama, rupa is without object. There's no nama. It's always be together. Nama means the mentality in this term, or mind, or consciousness, or thought process. Rupa is an object, it's a form. So we go a little bit more from quoted from Venerable Buddha Gosa from the book in the Path of Purification. It was written in the 5th century. That means from today, 1,500 years ago, and after the Buddha's demise, maybe nearly 1,000 years later, you know. So in this text, he clarified that mentality and materiality are connected to the 5 aggregates. Mentality is correlated with the 3 aggregates of feeling, perception, and mental formation. And whereas materiality is signified the aggregates of material form. So this statement also clarified one of our answer to, like, why Buddha provide the process of life through the 12 links. Why it is not 13 links? Why it is not the 100 links? Or why it is not 200 links? It could be more. But the reason is that, another reason, to explain the life process through the 5 aggregates or 6-fold sense basis. He doesn't like to go beyond of that. Of course, there are so many thought process. There are so many leveling of our mind, but all of the things, all of the quality, mental quality, and all of the factors, you can be clarified within these 12 links of dependent origination. It somehow makes some sense to understand the process. So another thing I like to say that consciousness, consciousness is it's very related to perceptions, our 6 sense doors, like 6 sense doors such as like a eye consciousness or ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, or body consciousness, and mind consciousness. And then we can see that our thought process, feeling, good feeling, bad feeling, sad feeling, a lot of categorization, a lot of labeling, and perception. These all are, we can see, we can be categorized under the consciousness. And the rupa can be object, it is the body. So I like to a little bit more. I like to say that uh, the Abhidharma studies. So Buddhist Abhidharma tradition is a very 1,000 years development. A lot of text, more than thousands of text for that. So Abhidharma tradition evolved when the scholars and practitioners started to categorize and leveling the mind, and they categorized the thought process, moment to moment, each moment to next moment, and previous moment, present moment, and what could be the next moment. So based on this kind of mental factors, the tradition was evolving. So this formula of dependent origination, you can see that as a primary sources, and it is a very initial historical thought after the Buddha was awakening or enlightenment, what we say. So like Nama Rupa, somehow I like to go a little bit further with the dependent, the fourth foundation, related to the fourth foundation of mindfulness, that Nama Rupa, understanding Nama Rupa, understanding the fact, it can be help to contemplation of the body as the body. So as you know, the fourth foundation of mindfulness, one part is kaya anudassana, seeing the body as the body. So observing the body or contemplating the bodily movement. So such as like sometimes if someone punch me and I got pain in my hand, so I see that my feeling is changing. We can observe this feeling. Or sometimes we have a toothache, we have a headache. You see how our body is changing. It was very interesting. Like 2 weeks ago, when I got my second shot of my vaccine, I have a strong body reaction. So very interesting. I was so fine for a whole day, but suddenly it started to change, and it brought me like another level of my sense, my mind is going to another level. It's very interesting, like how body react to the mind and react to my taste too. I don't like to eat the food, and I can't sleep. It's very strange feeling, very weird feeling. Don't know how to explain about that. It's not the same feeling like the general feeling I had. So we see that the process of changing, the nature of changing our body. So seeing the nature of changing of our body is normal. It's a process. We need to accept this changing. Like another thing, another deeper way we can say that when I was teenage, it's not same in my right now today. I will be not same 10 years later from now, and I will be not same 20 years later. We don't have a our body is changing. So accepting the change of the body, accepting the changing, it is a reality. Accepting the reality. Sometime, so this is we are changing. It's impermanent. That's why the Buddha introduced the term impermanence. So it can be truth. Impermanence is the truth. It is truth for every single level. Our feeling is impermanence. Our mind, our our bodily sensation also impermanence. So feeling impermanence. So sometimes impermanence maybe a bit complicated for you, but feeling in general way, I just explained. Like we have some good feeling. Suddenly something happened. Our mood changed. We became sad. So that's our feeling is not sustained. It's not permanent. We can see the process of changing. This is impermanence. We can see process of the changing mood, changing mind, our, and also the changing our body from moment to moment, time to time. These all are impermanence. So Namarupa, it is, it can be this thing is, it can help to contemplate our body, contemplate our mental, our object, some of the part, and uh, to realize that fact, and without judgment. Of course, we need to have, again, I like to back this term, as our friend said, that manosikaro, attention, as we discuss, wisely reflection or wisely attention. So these are all are correlated to each other. So study this link, consciousness and namarupa. When you reflect a little bit more and more, we can go to some deeper, and we can see that how we can be, helping us to tame our thought process. And so it's very famous saying from the text, Satipatthana Sutra. It said, mind watching the mind. It's very interesting. Mind watching the mind. So that means like your consciousness is contemplating the thought process. Just observe this process. Feeling arising, ceasing. Good feeling, bad, and also that negative feeling too. So, it's, you can contemplate slowly. We can see, when you contemplate, we can see that how it is changing. Sometimes it's very fast, rising and falling, rising and falling. Sometimes it smoothly goes, slowly come down. Sometimes, only rising. It takes a long time to cease. So it's very interesting observation. But of course, we need to be yoniso manasikara. That's very important things. We have to be we have to have attention or wise reflection, as another term, like awareness of awareness. So that can be help us. Sorry, that can be help us to contemplate. So
Andrew,
yeah.
back to the last slide you had. Now, of the 5 aggregates, I guess you only name 4. I would assume what consciousness is under mentality then.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that is the technically, yeah, it is conscious under mentality. Yes, right.
Okay.
Right, yeah. So that I back again to the rupa in the body, relate to the karma, according to in the sense of karma, according to the scripture, this from Samyutta Nikaya. It says, this body is not yours, nor does it belong to others. It is old karma, to be seen as generated and fashioned by pollution or habitual tendency, as something to be felt. It's a very wide introspection, but it reminds us the nature of impermanence and our action, and also that is how to is correlated to our karmic consequences and habitual tendencies, and also that our consciousness and and uh, and its consequences. So these two fact today we discussed these two things, like consciousness and mentality and materiality. It is actually covered a lot of factors, the later on factors, like the fifth link is 6 sense doors, contact, then contact, the number 6. Number 7 is feeling. Number 8, craving. Number 9, clinging. So I like to say it in the briefly, like the past 2 link, like ignorance and habitual tendencies, they're the past. Now it is the present consciousness. And now we are talking about the present moment, our mental phenomenal object, and the rest of the mental faculties too. So okay, so any reflection, any questions for today's?
Well, I guess this old karma you talk about, I guess I'm not quite sure how that relates to body.
Karma, it's intention to another translation. So sometimes like how could say the mindful practice, actually it is actually in the terms of in the sense of mindfulness on the body, like our body sometimes react in very I just talking in general way. Our body, we are sometimes reacted very interesting way, and we don't understand our body. Sometimes we eat too much, sometimes some reason, maybe it cause for some problem, some kind of the like some negative consequences sometime, but actually it is based on our action, whatever is going on our body, our health issue, based on our action, based on our something else, some problem, maybe we don't aware of this situation. So it's very interesting, it's very hard question, but
Well, I say if
what I
one
understand
breaks
that,
one, yeah, if it's let's say if one gets sick and
right,
has an illness that has nothing to do with I guess the present day karma, yeah, it has to do with the
it's
past
a
karma.
past karma. Yeah, that's why that always say the mindful reflection from yoniso manasikara, like wise reflection or attention. You have enough awareness for that, can be helpful for for reflect more and more. That's the thing.
Yeah, because for me, sometimes I always question, why something happened to me, and then that's not my karma today, so it must have been my past life that
Yeah,
an accident.
yeah. Well, sometimes
Are
we
you
cannot explain.
saying then I should then really focus my attention, not so much on why, but then really focus my attention in terms of how do I then deal with this problem?
Yeah. But I like the four foundation of mindfulness somehow. Like it always emphasizes to you, just focus on the present condition, the present moment, the present. So sometimes past thing we can't be changed, but we can change our future. So let's focus on the present doing.
Okay.
And try to not to produce the next karma, next consequences. So if we are aware of the present doing right now, what we are doing, we can stop to
I see.
create the more more facts. Sometimes some question you cannot find the answer exactly. Intellectually, you try to explain everything, but it's tough. It's tough to get the particular particular concept. Sometimes that's the thing.
Okay.
Is anything from anyone?
Just quickly, Doctor. Just when you said, is that what you mean by awareness of the awareness? So
yeah.
So the consciousness, the awareness of the object, whether it's thoughts or whatever it is, and then you have to be then mindful, aware of that, what's going on in your consciousness, in order to do the right wise reflection. Is that what you mean by awareness of awareness?
Oh, yes. It is, yeah, it is actually a very wide explanation.
Mm.
Where awareness, mindfulness, uh, we need to be aware in for, I mean, of course, the ethical perfection is related there. So mindfulness, there's a two types of mindfulness. One is a samma sati and miccha sati, like right mindfulness and wrong mindfulness, as we translate.
Mm. Mm.
So right mindfulness is the based on your ethical perfection. And like, for example, how can I explain to you? I need to finish my job by today, for example.
Mm.
So I need to, maybe I have to write down my report for, I have a time just for 5 hours. So I just focus on this point only within this half day. I need to finish this assignment, and I have to develop my attention, concentration only for this. Maybe within this time, if I was playing with my phone or attending the another meeting or something, what is, so it's
Mm.
not exactly I missed the point. So my
Mm.
mindfulness, my concentration only for completing this one. But this is my ethics somehow. And another one, wrong mindfulness. Also, we can. It's really quite wide topic, but I just like to explain in short, in brief, that, for example, like Osama, that he's a very well-known that bad guy. He also had a mindfulness too. Otherwise, how can he make this kind of the blueprint to attack to this 9/11? The things happen, but his mindfulness is for wrong purpose, for wrongdoing.
Mhm.
So it is incorporated by ethical moral action too.
Mm.
So morality, it can be defined not only for right or wrong, but also it explained to, it can help to understand, it leads our doing the action too.
Mhm.
So right mindfulness, it's about, we can say that in positive way, it can help practice, is good for me and good for others and good for entire society. And wrong mindfulness, the brilliant guy, maybe he's mindful for taking advantage to take something from others. That's completely wrong. Even he's mindful, but his purpose is wrong. Someone is very flattering talk. Sometimes they like advantage from others. They mislead or they manipulate others. That is the wrong mindfulness. Of course, he has a mindfulness, but
Yeah.
his purpose is for wrongdoing. Maybe his objective for, like, it's very common. Like, you can see that when you reflect some of the people, you can see that they're manipulating me. They're manipulating others just for taking advantage of a business or some other stuff. So that's actually, it's a mindfulness, but it's a wrong mindfulness. So morality is always still there. So, and of course, all are related, all are healthy practice somehow. So then you pay attention for right purpose. It's truly make the sense, like, it is it is the right awareness in projecting the right consciousness. So
Mm.
does it make sense actually?
No,
Yeah.
I think yes, I think you've given me a lot of food for thought, as it were. Yeah, because I think it's all linked to the right understanding and wholesome actions, and then what was the other one? Wise reflection, wisdom, isn't it, at the top?
Wisdom.
Because I suppose that's where the Buddha put the right understanding at the wisdom, at the top, isn't it? The
At the
wisdom and the
top.
right thought. So it's very complicated. Yeah, it's all those factors you have to incorporate and understand, I suppose, isn't it? Thank you, Doctor. You've given me a lot of things to think about. Yeah.
Okay, you all are welcome. So is there anything, any kind of reflection? Are we all good? Okay, so thank you very much. We see you next week, and thank you very much for all of your attention and all of your thought. And please feel free to write down and also write on Canvas or write to me anything, any reflection. It's helpful for us, and we are growing up together. So thank you. Have a good day. See
Thank
you
you,
next
doctor.
week.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.